Awesome Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here. This is a bit of a retro review, but not a retro review on toys, but on the 1995 MMPR movie. I've thought about doing a video like this for a while, but with the Blu-ray release coming out, I decided this was the perfect time to revisit it. I might do something similar for Turbo after the Blu-ray comes out. And as usual, this is my annual video apology that I'm not going to be using pictures or anything because of the copyright stuff. I know I'm like repetitive with that, but I just want to show my appreciation to those of you that still watch even though I can't do that because, I don't know, I don't feel like dealing with the stress. Like, hopefully one day it'll calm down and then I can use pictures again. Like, because I like to look at pictures too, like reading or just listening to people. No thanks, I need pictures because I'm 5 years old. Anyway, speaking of 5 years old, so this movie. This is an interesting movie in retrospect. I still do enjoy it. I feel like there's a level of just inherent nostalgia with it that as much as I try to push it out because I'm not really a nostalgic person in a lot of ways, you just can't escape it. But it's really an interesting movie in retrospect based on like the way we view the franchise and its developments and our hopes for it and just the way movies have changed because it's like this weird hybrid between the two approaches of the other movies when you think about it. Like 2017 movie was meant to just be like a movie, like a blockbuster, and then the Turbo movie was like a made-for-TV movie practically. It's like one of those movies that like, oh, it only is gonna appear in these select theaters, and they actually tied it to the show. And this was like using the show characters and the general idea of the lore you're familiar with, but on a blockbuster level, and it was its own universe. And it's interesting to think about that at the time because like now we have stuff like DC being like, oh, Arrow, you can't mention this character because people are going to have nosebleeds if they have a movie version and a TV version at the same time. They just won't understand. But like this expected the primary audience of like 5 to 10-year-olds to understand that this was not the show because they did like an alternate version of this origin story. I mean, I'm sure there was some kids that were confused. At the time, I wasn't. I kind of just knew it, but I just find that to be kind of funny because it's kind of a bold thing to do if you think about it, when now I feel like movie studios and TV studios are like almost too overprotective with thinking people are gonna be so stupid that you can't even say the name Deathstroke on Arrow because, I don't know, it's just, I could go a whole video ranting about that stupidness, but I think that's kind of interesting. And I'll be honest, maybe I'm the only one, but I do kind of prefer some of the story beats for the ninja power transition in the show. I think it was just a little bit more impactful because like seeing the Thunder Zords get destroyed and like the quest with Ninjor, I just kind of liked it more. It felt more like a natural next step in the show. But I did like this one. It's definitely very 90s. I mean, the whole opening of the movie can be summed up with extreme skydiving, the rollerblading, like you're on roller skates and you're just like braiding your hair. I said it again! The rollerblading. There we go. Like, it's the most 90s thing. Remember Brink, guys? Rollerblading? Get it? Because 90s? But so, like, that whole opening, it's very, very 90s. And it's weird, like, seeing not only just alternate universe versions of, like, Zordon Alpha, the command center, the suits, but then you have, like, the fact that they were filming in Australia at the time and stuff. But I think it's mostly a solid movie. I wouldn't say it's like the best movie that holds up, but I think for Power Rangers fans it's a pretty solid movie. I think it did a pretty decent job of keeping the charms and stuff from the show, but upping their game a little bit. Like, I felt the acting was a little bit better. Not like it was the Academy Award-winning I can't talk in this one, guys. Why do I even do this? Academy Award-winning performance or anything like that. But I thought it was just upped a little bit. I actually really like the suits in this movie a lot. I was really happy we got legacy figures of those during Bandai's reign some years ago. I hope we get lightning figures of those. I thought that was cool, a neat way of being familiar and kind of showing it's different at the same time. I really liked just the general design, the way the coins were on there. I liked the idea of the different helmet abilities. It's kind of a shame we never got to see all of them. I think I remember from a panel I saw at one of the PMCs, like Johnny Young Bosch said there was one where he had like elephant ears, or an elephant, well I guess mastodon ears. So it's kind of a shame we didn't get to see all of them, but I enjoyed the fight sequences. It's kind of a shame how early the stuff was taken out. We didn't get to see maybe what the Zords of the original powers were going to look like. I mean, I do like Ivan Ooze as a villain. I thought I mean, he's not like the most intimidating, but I thought he was a good mix of intimidating and kind of entertaining and had like iconic. You see, guys, why am I doing this? Iconic lines like, oh, where's my autograph book? Like, people, even casual fans, still reference that. Like, somebody on Facebook shared this story about like, oh, purple water comes out of someone's drain in such and such state. And I looked at the comments and the top comment was somebody saying Ivan Ooze strikes again, and they used that gif. So I think a lot of people remember him. And it was kind of this nice change from the show where they even said that in the featurette on this, where they're talking about how, you know, obviously we have different monsters all the time, but you're so used to Zed and Rita that all of a sudden you have this guy coming in and like dethroning them for this movie. And so I thought he worked well as a villain. I mean, the parent stuff with the kid and like the Leap to Our Doom stuff was kind of here. I wasn't really too huge on that, but I guess you kind of needed that. Like, it was kind of a brilliant plan. It's like a really low-grade version of It when you think about it. Like, he's disguising himself to manipulate people. There we go, that's the word for that. So I wasn't really a fan of that part. The quest part was kind of cool. Ever since I've gotten older, I was surprised about, like, I feel like that wouldn't be something they have in PR now, is Delphine's costume. Wow, we probably wouldn't do that nowadays. But I liked some of the stuff with that. I liked the journey of it. I kind of liked the fight against the giant monsters. I love the scene where they all get their powers. I mean, it's weird because I felt that was a little more epic and I liked it, but for whatever reason, I just preferred the show one. I think it's just because I was more invested in all the build-up in the show at the time when I was younger. Like I said, the Thunder Zords and stuff. And then you have like the final act, and like I said, the CG for the Zords does not hold up. I'm really curious about what their line of thinking was with that. Just like basically they took the Ninja Zords but tried to make them look a little bit more machine-like than the ones in the show. And I'm just really curious what their thoughts were on the approach. Because it's interesting nowadays to think about it. Because I thought about this a lot when the 2017 movie came out. Like, you want to make it because like we're used to seeing the rubber suits and the mecha suits, but like that might not be necessarily as appealing to some people, so it made sense they'd go CG for 2017, which I think the one from Megazord looked pretty much fine. But this, like, CG just wasn't there. I actually think the Turbo movie, just using the suit, looked pretty decent. I mean, it looked like a step up from the show. It was still like that classic Toku look, but it felt like it fit on the movies okay? Like, on the big screen, if that makes any sense. So, I don't know. I mean, I like parts about the final Zord sequence and stuff like that. I always found it to be weird when Ivan Ooze just took over the giant robot. Like, there's something weird about it to me, but there's parts I like about it, but I think that's the part of the movie. If there's two parts of the movie that don't really hold up, unless it's kind of just the 90s vibe, which you can only really appreciate if you're like into that or you grew up then, which is kind of dated, and then the last sequence. But I think it's kind of a very okay movie to the outside public, but I think it's a very decent PR movie that I still enjoy. And again, I think it's an interesting beast of actually making it this alternate universe and stuff like that. Like, I've always, since I've gotten, you know, older, been curious about exploring that. Like, was that a universe where Rocky, Adam, and Aisha were chosen right away? Was there no Green Ranger? Like, that would be kind of cool to explore in a comic. But yeah, I mean, I think it holds up okay. Like I said, it's kind of hard almost for me to push out my fondness for it, like, as much as I try to, so I think that I'm maybe a little lenient on some parts. But I think it's better than I would expect it to be, or better than I expect it to hold up. And I think it certainly holds up more than trying to watch some of the filler chunks of the original MMPR. So yeah, I still enjoy this movie. I'd probably give it about, like, on a curve of being a fan, like a 7 out of 10. So like I said, I might do this for Turbo as well when the movie comes out on Blu-ray. I was thinking about doing kind of a small ranking video of the 3 movies and watching them all back to back and seeing how that feels, but we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it even without the pictures. I didn't try to do any weird dance moves to entertain you, but you know how it is. But anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out. I noticed I kept doing this a lot. Like, am I doing the Doctor Strange like thing? I don't, I'll just leave now.